Agentic AI integration is becoming the talk of the town. But why are organizations racing to adopt it?
Agentic AI processes documents at complex levels, including unstructured data reading.
It doesn't just read information, it understands and interprets.
With low-code to no-code solutions, teams can build and adopt workflows without heavy manual effort.
Cleaner interfaces and smoother upgrades that make it easier to use.
Curious to know more? In a world where traditional automation is no longer enough, the contemporary business landscape is at constant evolution and change. Both industry and customer expectations are no longer predictable, and the volume of work moving across all these sectors like finance, logistics, HR, supply chain, and operations has grown exponentially. This widening gap between business complexity and automation capability is now one of the biggest barriers to transformation. So today's discussion is designed to answer that question. We'll explore how agentic AI is reshaping industries, what real-world user cases look like, where the biggest ROI opportunities are emerging, and how organizations can implement this technology responsibly with the right governance, trust, and future-proof strategies. I would like to welcome you all to our webinar segment on agentic AI in partnership with Automation Anywhere. As we begin exploring this pivotal shift, I would like to introduce our Chief Executive Officer at Ascent Business Solutions, Mr. Vishwanath, bringing a proven track record of helping businesses grow through smart technology-led transformation. His strategic perspective and industry expertise have delivered results for organizations across multiple sectors. So before we begin, I would like to note that any questions you may have can be entered through a meeting chat and will be answered accordingly. With that being said, Vishy, over to you.
Medini, a very warm welcome to everyone attending the webinar, where we should try to unravel some of the agentic automation, I would say, myths, and also its relevance in today's world, creating enterprise value, right? As Medini mentioned, I'm the CEO of Ascent. Prior to Ascent, I have worked with Accenture for over 20 years in consulting, outsourcing, and transformation space with customers across the globe, US, Southeast Asia, you name it. Been associated with transformation across the enterprise, so supply chain, procurement, finance, and other functions as well, right? My last role in Accenture was of a managing director based out of India and working with multiple clients on the transformation journey. Some context about Ascent. Ascent is a service provider in the outsourcing and transformation space. We have around 700 plus employees today. And it's built to serve customers across the globe, across different sizes or different market segments. With Ascent, we have built a very strong transformation capability across automation, workflow, analytics, and on the back of outsourcing services, which includes finance, supply chain, logistics, procurement, human resources. This also kind of gives us an edge in understanding your business from your point of view and building products that are relevant and are at the heart of your business and are generating the expected value. Our AI journey today encompasses us being the sole partners for Automation Anywhere in Sri Lanka, with capability developed in building these solutions and bringing them to reality. We have a lot of use cases that we've already deployed. We have a best-in-class design and change management framework. And the reason it's important, as you guys must have read, 70% of the solutions kind of fail because of weak change management, right, within the organization. So we ensure sustainability of these solutions by integrating them with the culture and the maturity of the specific organization where we are kind of doing the transformation at, right? All of this is built post a very detailed assessment, which kind of brings in the opportunities where agentic can come into play, where RPA needs to fit in, where workflow kind of comes in, right? So that's some bit of context about Ascent. What we will do over this session is go through the automation anywhere capability as a platform and how we can help organizations kind of, build a very solid foundation for AI and bring their vision in terms of building enterprise value within the organization into reality, right? So without any further ado, I'll pass it over to Medini to take the session forward.
Starting off with our next segment, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Ashwin Kumar from Automation Anywhere. With 25 years of experience in techno-functional roles across different corporate functions and over 9 years in Automation Anywhere's partner enablement team, building a center of excellence in agentic autonomous enterprises for strategic partners and channels teams. Mr. Ashwin, over to you.
Thanks a lot. A very warm welcome to all of you. I really appreciate your time. I work out of Bangalore, India. So it's been a good decade with Automation Anywhere, and it's given me the opportunity to walk the steps right from basic nuances of RPA to autonomous enterprise itself, right? So what we're going to cover today is going to be predominantly talk about our product offerings, what they can do, how they do it, and also showcase a quick demo. But the whole idea of doing this is to help you understand the whole nitty-gritties and nuances that are associated with autonomous enterprise, what are the requirements to go ahead and build one as well. Right. Kindly do ask any questions that you may have. You may type in the questions in your chat window, and I will take appropriate pauses and look at those questions and respond to them as well. Excellent. So for all of you, Automation Anywhere, if you have been following it for the last 2 decades, we've been in this business for the last 2 decades. Today, Automation Anywhere has this capability where we serve more than 5,000 plus customers. And we were the first ones to have gone ahead and created the RPA category itself back in 2000, 2003. And when we created this category, we've noticed that there was so many newer activities that needs to be done, newer products, newer versions that came up in this last 20 plus years. So the first category when we created, which was RPA, 20 to 40% of the tasks were being automated, right? And there were tens of millions of dollars in savings, which was available for our customers and partners alike. So I know when everybody talks about RPA, they felt RPA itself is going to give us significant savings. But what we have realized in the last decade or so with more than 5,000 plus customers is it will typically give you around 20 to 40% of productivity gains by using RPA itself. We have gone ahead and invested close to $1 billion and have created our own AI offerings. All our products are built from scratch for the cloud. It can be deployed both on-prem, cloud, and hybrid mode. We've gone ahead and created the APA category as well. In the APA category, we have clearly noticed a 40 to 80% of the tasks that can be automated. And we have seen hundreds and millions of dollars in savings with just one single use case alone. So which we'll talk about these use cases as well while we go through those couple of slides. We have estimated this to be a $4 trillion opportunity. Consider this. This is the pie that is available for all of us to go ahead and invest more and bring value to our end customers as well. So for all of you who may have insights into RPA and would want to know about APA, the key differentiators are predominantly not only in terms of productivity gains, but also in terms of deterministic learning AI process agents as well. So with RPA, you are able to get 20 to 40% efficiency gains. It was predominantly platform only, where you need to have the platform and everything was built or embedded into the platform, and it was task oriented. You have to create task, short task, probably a couple of steps, and so on and so forth. And because it was task oriented, the use case selection was also a little biased towards large volumes of data, significant amount of manual interventions, and so on and so forth. So assisted automation was available, and because you're looking at use cases which is large amounts of data and would require too much of human interventions and efforts, you would normally lean towards back office processes. It was very deterministic and rule based. You had to set the rule. You had to say what data to look at, how to look at, what are the mathematical operators that you need to perform, what kind of checks and balances that you need to do, what are the rules for those checks and balances, was always predefined. And there was always a human in the loop for validation, right? And governance was predominantly based on role and application. Who is the user, what role that user is going to play, what kind of application that user is going to use, and that data or the log for that data is where governance was based on. Now you take APA, that's a significant jump from RPA itself. You're looking at 40 to 80% efficiency gains, improved customer experiences, and new revenues. So today we offer just not the platform, but along with it comes the solutions as well. You now have the capability to run complex, long-running processes, both in assisted as well as autonomous automations. There is no longer this degree of separation between front, mid, and back offices. You can go ahead and run long-running, very complex applications across your technology landscape, and you can go ahead and deploy them as well. It comes, of course, it is very deterministic, but it comes with the added benefit of learning AI process agents, right? We have built-in products where AI can write the code and also self-repair automations as well. Let me just take two examples where AI writes the code. So we have a Copilot, which is the Automation Anywhere Copilot. While we talk about Copilot, Copilot was the coin which is first termed by automation anywhere, and now everybody uses Copilot for different reasons. So contextually, it's been used in multiple different ways. But Automation Anywhere termed the word Copilot. It's been more than a year and a half that we've done it. So we have a Copilot where you could use natural language. You could just go ahead and type in what you want to create, and the Copilot will help you go ahead and build that automation for you. In the case of self-repair automations, we have a product which is called the Generative Recorder. Now, this holds good for any enterprise applications where you see a large amount of variations in the UI, which is the user interface. Let's say, for example, right, I'm just going to talk about SAP. So every time there is a change in the attribute or change in the theme or change in the location or the way that particular page of SAP is built in, your automations will fail, and then you have to go ahead and bring down the automations from your production, bring it back into dev, make the changes, test it, and then put it back into production, which means there's a lot of loss of productive hours and effort, which is going to go do that. The generative recorder, on the other hand, will go ahead and identify all of these, and once it identifies that there is a change, it will go ahead and provide you with the DOM-X path or the shadow DOM path, asking for a human approval. Once that approval is provided, it will go ahead and make those changes and then complete that particular transaction very successfully. All while doing this, it will go ahead and make a note in the log as well. So every single activity is audit log. Here, humans play the role of a decision maker. It's not just human in a loop for validation. They get the opportunity to decide what automations to run, what agents to deploy, and so on and so forth. Governance is real time. It is no longer associated just with the role or the application. Governance is real time. It has the capability of audit and traceability, where you can identify which AI models are used, when are they used, what does it allow you to do. So we have a product which is called the AI Guardrail, which will help you identify what is the original text and what is the generated text. Now, why is this important? You would notice that most of the time, AI goes ahead and generates text. Everybody consumes the generated text, but they do not really know where is the text coming from, right? And what is the source of the text. So that is where AI guardrails come in. It ensures that there is an audit of the original text as well as the generated text. It ensures that none of the personal identifiable information goes to the cloud, irrespective of any AI model that you're going to use. We've built in something called as AI evaluations, which will help you evaluate LLMs, which will help you evaluate AI agents, the optimization, the metrics, and the responses as well. So you know what kind of responses are being generated from which kind of a model and which kind of an LLM, and do they meet the your organizational standards or no. So you can go ahead and evaluate them. So you have business metrics that they are evaluated on. If you look at any APA enterprise, right, the idea is to move work from primarily manual to move to an autonomous method with APA. One of the key questions that I will address is, when we talk about APA, what happens to RPA? Does RPA survive? Absolutely, it does. And I will talk about it in the next few slides as well. Like we said earlier, RPA allows you to go ahead and automate 20 to 40% of the task. The savings are in the range of tens of millions of dollars. APA will go ahead and increase that to hundreds of millions of dollars. If you look at a process, RPA would typically take 20%, and then it moved to 30%, and 70% was APA. Now, in a very autonomous enterprise, you'll have 90%, which is fully automated using APA, and 10% would be delivered through RPA. So there would be some human intervention that is required for that 10% of the activity. What does this mean for organizations? What it does mean is it's going to free up a lot of these IT budgets that you have, where you could go ahead and invest in innovations. You could reallocate human resources from operations to revenue producing functions. You can move your business faster. You no longer have to track, you no longer have to find out if the protocols are followed. You no longer have to worry about supply and demand, predominantly because the operations are running smooth. What's possible for an autonomous enterprises? So when you look at majority of the processes that are autonomous and some of the processes which are manual, each of these role would like to have a certain aspect of what their goal would describe as. So if you look at the CEOs, right? The CEO persona would talk about building competitive advantage. They would want to understand, okay, how competitive can my organization be while I'm trying to run it on an AI model? If you look at the CIOs, they would want to turn IT into a center of innovation by freeing up budgets. Operational owners, business owners, chief operating officers would typically want to reduce the revenue leakages. They would want to go ahead and reallocate investments to revenue impacting roles and then focus on operational savings while improving customer experiences. The CFOs, right? Typically, they're the guys, the finance guys who work with money. They want the money to work harder with improved cash flows and lower inventory so that they don't have to worry about, you know, projections and so on and so forth. And they can create a very profitable model. I'm just going to take a quick break or a pause and look for questions. While I wait for questions, I want to focus probably another 10 seconds on this slide because this is the key slide. Let's just take a quick 10-second pause. Do let me know if you are able to, or you can type in the questions and I can go ahead and address them as well.
Ashwin, we do have a few questions directed by a few of our participants. One would be, what is the commercial difference between RPA versus agentic?
Okay. So when you look at okay, when you look at the commercial differences, uh, these are different packs. RPA definitely is a required one, is the foundational unit that you need to have. The APA comes with various different functions and solutions as well. So if you're looking at the APA part of it, you would need a couple of key components. There are a whole lot of components that may not be required for each and every single activity. So I'm just going to focus on some of the key ones as well. You would need our AI Agent Studio platform, which helps you to build the agents. You would need models. Now, these models could be off-the-shelf models. It could be any of the models that are commercially available, or you could bring in your own models as well. Some of the models that we support are DeepSeek, OpenAI, Azure, AWS models. All of these models are available. And again, if you want, or if you've already subscribed to these models, you could go ahead and use those models, or you can bundle it with Automation Anywhere. Then you would need a RAG tool, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation tool, right? We have our own RAG tool, which is called the Automation Anywhere Enterprise Knowledge Base. We also do support all the other RAGs, Google RAG, Azure RAG, and AWS RAG as well. The command packages are already there. You could go ahead and use them as well. I necessarily don't want to get into the dollar value of it. Our sales guys and Ascent are the best people to talk about how different is it in terms of the dollar value. But in terms of the impact are significantly higher. Are there any other questions? Okay, so everybody has a different a definition of APA. They may align to what we are talking here. And so in some cases, it might be very different because everybody has their own product. There are a lot of point solutions out there which will do only one basic thing and then move on. Right. So we have gone ahead and defined APA as an advanced automation framework that is going to orchestrate across AI process agents, automations, and people, which will help you to execute mission critical business processes with autonomy, real time optimization, built in governance for scalable and responsible automation. What does it really mean, right? If I have to look at our objective, our definition of APA, and if I have to superimpose that on a particular process, let's say it is an process where there is order fulfillment, you would notice that the process starts and then you have our award-winning document automation product, which will go ahead and extract orders from forms. Then you have the RPA, which will go ahead and update CMS or any other systems of record. Then you have the AI agent, which is the inventory agent, which will go ahead and verify the inventory that is available within the logistical hubs and comes back and provides you with the results. Then you have the API task, which will go ahead and upload all of this data in the least amount of time with absolutely low latency using the API calls. Then you have the warehouse manager, where the warehouse manager plays a key role of accepting it, rejecting it, asking for more information, or approving exceptions. Once that exception is done, you have the AI agent which automatically takes it over from that particular decision and goes ahead and optimizes the shipping routes, uses the API calls to go ahead and update the system of record. Then there's a constant API agent which will monitor not only the shipping and the logistical routes, but will also keep on sending updates. And once they receive the final approval, they will go ahead and update it onto the Salesforce. Now, if you notice this flow, in today's world, you will need literally an army of individuals to go ahead and perform these activities, and you'll still need all the technology stack. You'll still need all the solutions on top of that. But with AI and the APA platform itself, all of this can be done in less than 2 hours, where the human is performing the role of approving exceptions. The rest of it is built by and delivered by AI process agents, automations on its own itself. This is where we talk about autonomous enterprise, of how we are able to go ahead and deliver value to the customers. Now let's look at traditional automation and APA. And when we say traditional automation, I'm going to talk about RPA as traditional automation because the world has moved past RPA. Right. So if you take, let's say, a instant loan approval process, right? So in a traditional automation, you would have a bot which will take the input email, collect the data, and then pass it on to a loan officer. The loan officer will use probably Salesforce or any other application to edit, check, validate, send it back, all of that. Once that is done, then they will push that particular information back into the stream where another bot will go ahead and enter the data. Then the loan coordinator is going to use Outlook or chat and reach out to the customers and ensure that all the information that is required is available. It is then sent out to a document specialist and then to an underwriter who will go ahead and perform those activities. Now, if I look at the same example, right, and I use APA, you just need 3 agents. You need a document verification agent, you need a compliance agent, and you need a loan processing agent. Now, these 3 agents will perform all of these activities on their own, interact with customers on their own, get that information, make that page, go ahead and make those changes, send it for approval, and then verify it, and then send it out to the customer with either an approval or a rejection. Now, all of that takes less than 45 minutes. Just imagine if there's an individual who's seeking a large loan, either a secured or an unsecured loan, and they get to know the results if they're approved or rejected in 45 minutes. That's a huge relief for them. We have been able to see a 45% increase in loan closing, a 20% increase in underwriters margin, where now underwriters, the whole activity is done by the AI agent. So there is no room for, no room for biasness or no room for fault tolerances and issues. And there's a 50% reduction in credit risk. So you know what kind of credit risk you're running as an organization. We've also seen a 20% net promoter score improvement where the end customers, end users are happy, not only because of the time it takes to go ahead and provide them with the responses, but also the activities that have been done. So they know at each stage of the process what is exactly happening, what is expected of them as a user, as a loan requester, and what activity is being performed. So they are being constantly updated with the information. So there is an increase of a 20% in the net promoter score as well. This is a key slide. I just want to spend at least a minute and a half on this. And I want to talk about why we say that not all agents are equal. Now, I do know that there are hundreds and thousands of AI offerings that are available in the industry, but there are hardly few who get validated by independent, consulting firms and agencies. So it could be Gartner, it could be HFS. You will always find Automation Anywhere as a leader, as an emergent, as a provider or as a leader in the top right quadrant itself. And this is all our products are not slideware or products which are in POC or being fine-tuned. These are products which are in production for the last year or more. And we have seen the kind of difference it makes to our end customers when they use an APA itself. So if you look at some of the large or spoken about co-pilots or different AI agents that are available, what do these agents do? They probably go ahead and answer some questions, summarize a report, write a blog for me, perform certain tasks for me. But when you really look at it, these are basic productivity apps or productivity tasks. It will help me to go ahead and improve my productivity by 10 to 15%. All of these are low competitive apps or low complexity apps and low impact apps. And they work only between one or a few apps within a particular ecosystem. So Ashwin, if he uses this, may see an improvement of 10 to 15% of personal productivity. So Ashwin decides and defines what kind of app I'm going to use, what tool I'm going to use, when I'm going to use, and what I'm going to use it for. Then you look at large captive AI agents. Now, these captive AI agents have been in the news when the CEOs talk about it in both, the lighter side of it and the dark side of it. What they typically do is they help you analyze customer inquiries. They could typically go ahead and build a story around a chart of sales or go ahead and summarize meetings. The biggest limitation factor that these captive agents have is they are always within a closed ecosystem. They do not work across the enterprise. They will work within one application or a couple of applications within that particular ecosystem. They do not talk to any other application outside their ecosystem, right? Just imagine if you have, I'm just going to use a system of record where the system of record is used for all the applications within an organization. You'll hardly find less than 1% of the companies doing that. Every organization uses, if it's a small and medium size, they would use anywhere between 30 to 45 different applications. It's a medium to large, between 50 to 150, and if it's a large enterprise, anywhere between 150 to 500 different applications. That's the technology landscape or the lay of the land that they would have, right? So if it works only within that particular ecosystem, it means that it's limited. Again, it is predominantly to a employee. So an employee could go ahead and gain 10 to 15%. This is our biggest differentiator. The highest value that we have and we are able to generate for our end users are by the usage of our AI process agents. So you could go ahead, these are tool agnostic, platform agnostic, environment agnostic, technology agnostic. They can work across the enterprise in any particular process, any technology, any landscape. If you take large, let's say a complete process, it could be order management, anti-money laundering, prior authorization, you could name a host of them. These agents will help you to go ahead and perform mission critical long running applications. They will work across any application. There are no hindrances, including legacy systems as well. The biggest productivity gain is up to 80%. And this productivity gain is not for an individual. This is for a team. This is for a process. Just imagine if you have a particular process, let's just say order management, and if you have an army of individuals, right? You're getting an 80% productivity gain by using the AI agent. So that's the key differentiator that we have between the ones that are there and our APA's AI process agents, right? I'll just take a pause. Maithili, is there a question that I could go ahead and address?
Yes, Ashwin. We have one question. Could you work with automation anywhere within MS Dynamics, for example, to run some processes automatically?
Oh, absolutely. So the way Automation Anywhere works is we allow third-party integrations. So you could typically go ahead and build the AI agent using our platform, and they can seamlessly work. Could be MS Dynamics, could be, there are questions whether it would work on some of the other platforms. Yes. So it can, you can go ahead and build it and integrate it with them. It can either through be actions, command packages, or API calls. Okay, whichever MS Dynamics would allow or the end user would be comfortable with. We also have our own SDK kit. So if you want to go ahead and build your own customized command packages, you could also do that as well. Is there another question that I can take?
Yes, Ashwin. Is there a built-in workflow tool in APA platform?
Oh, absolutely. So the Copilot, the one that we spoke about, the Automation Anywhere Copilot, comes with a workflow tool where you could go ahead and build a workflow And in that workflow, you can initiate a bot task, a human task, an approval task, or an API task. So you build the workflow once and you execute it. So every single time there is a transaction, it will go ahead and follow its own tasks and own activities as well. So there is no longer waiting, no longer checking, and so on and so forth. So I'll take a quick example. Let's say I'm a bank teller and there's a gentleman who comes up and says, I want to change my address. And I say, okay, fair enough. Please give me a minute. I will typically go ahead, and this is a real life use case, right? I will go ahead and take all the information, or I'll give them forms to fill. They fill the forms, then I ask for some supporting documents. They give me the supporting documents. Then I take these, scan these, and then start attaching all of these either on an email or an app and send it to 2 or 3 different departments, and then wait for them to respond while the person is standing right in front of me. I take like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and I call them and say, you know what, can you just give me a status update? Let's say, step 1 is done, waiting for step 2 to respond, or step 3 is not in office, and so on and so forth, right? So I will probably take 30, 40 minutes and come back and say, you know what, we'll get this done in the next in 48 hours or 72 hours. So please bear with us and we will go ahead and make it happen. But with the APA, you don't need to do that. You could just go ahead and build a workflow where individuals or approvals or API activities or bot activities will initiate on its own. I could just take that information, scan it, and just click on one particular agent. And the workflow of that agent would be to perform all of these activities. And I will keep on getting those updates. And probably in 3 to 5 minutes, I might tell that individual, you know what, your job is done. We've gone ahead and done your address change. So here is your new address, which we have printed out. You could probably go get a new passbook done. And here is it in 3 to 5 minutes. So that's absolutely possible with our Copilot. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at what Automation Anywhere has to offer with either personal agents or captive AI agents, we do the length and breadth, irrespective of industry, irrespective of the functions itself. You could go ahead and use Automation Anywhere. So it's just like I told you, right? There are a lot of one-point solutions. And these one-point solutions become very, very difficult as a large enterprise or a medium enterprise. If you have to go ahead and have 30 to 50 different one-point solutions, it becomes very, very dicey because they will not talk to each other. Governance, monitoring, all of that is very, very dicey and very risky as well. One LOB vendor at a time. So somebody would say, we are a domain expert, we are a boutique organization, this is our bread and butter, this is what we do best, and we would want to do it. Again, problem of plenty. You will have a lot of these boutique vendors and you'll have to manage them as well. One person at a time, specific Copilot. Ashwin has his own, whims and fancies. He's built something else. He wants to deploy that. Management, governance, all of these are very big challenges that you have. We have gone ahead and invested close to $1 billion. And that investment has given us the opportunity to create new AI agents. One of the key reasons why we created our own secret sauce is we did go ahead and did a little experiment, and this is a live experiment which we did probably a year ago, where we ran a whole lot of data on an LLM. And then we ran that same specific data set and actions and tasks on the Automation Anywhere API platform. The results that we got, right, was LLM was giving 43% accuracy in terms of data because it was not grounded and it was not structured and so on and so forth. With Automation Anywhere, the results went up to 85% accuracy. And the reason why that happened is because we were able to ground the data. We had significant parts of the component that were able to identify the content, go ahead and perform the actions that needs to be performed as well. That is where we went ahead and built our own process reasoning engine, which will outperform any LLM. So we have a proprietary data. This is trained on more than 300 million automations. We're already on the Gen 3 model. We do understand how our product works. We do understand how our product works across the enterprise on multiple different applications, right? It's a limited number of applications that you have, probably a few thousand, but then again, it's a finite number of applications that the industry or the world has today, and we know for sure how do they function because we have taken a large massive amount of 300 million automations to train our pre is what we call them, our process reasoning engine that comes with reasoning capabilities. So there's reflection and learning. So there's a constant learning mechanism that ensures that it learns on every single transaction. There's intent identification. So it exactly knows what is the intent behind the natural language that you use to go ahead and add it. There is context enrichment. So it goes ahead and identifies the intent, identifies the kind of content that you want. It is not going to ask you multiple questions and ask you to keep on confirming or validating. It will go ahead and enrich the context and provide you with the responses that you need. There is absolute governance. It's a milestone, cornerstone for us. We know for sure what activity is done, who's doing it, what model is being used, when is it being used, what device is being used, and so on and so forth. There is validation and tuning. You could go ahead and validate, and you can fine tune your parameters and the biasness so that you know what is the output that you're going to give. And then there's planning as reasoning as well. So you can go ahead and plan, you can reason with the content. There's a whole lot that you can do. With pre and the reasoning capabilities, we are able to see unmatched results. We have been able to increase the deployment speed and the development speed by up to 30%. We have seen resiliency go up by 50% because there are far less failures. We have been able to improve document processing accuracy by 90% with respect to the LLM accuracy of 40%. Discovery and definition, right? The whole process discovery and definition of the process. We are now able to deploy it in days versus months. So instead of taking one process at a time, building a task team and going through an organization which has 300 processes, which will probably take a couple of years, you can do that in just 2 weeks with a process discovery tool. 2 weeks, all the 300 processes. It's just not the green line. Every single activity, every single process, every single use case that is ever going to be done in that particular organization can be tracked, mapped, and then validated using a process discovery tool. So it creates a blueprint of the organization itself. Right. I just want to showcase one quick thing. This is a co-pilot for automators. This will talk about how our product is different, and this will give you some of the key differences. It does not have a background, score because it's the content is self-explanatory. So you no longer need to know to code, right? You can, I know we made it easier by drag and drop, but we are taking it a step further or a very long step further. You can just type in a natural language and then be able to go ahead and create that particular piece of code itself. Let me just quickly look around. If there are questions, I would like to take a couple of them. I'm just keeping a track of time as well.
Yes, we have one question. Yes.
Yeah.
So I would like to quote, when it comes to a tech deployment, ROI matters. Licensing cost of the Automation Anywhere versus Microsoft Power Automate, it is difficult to get the licensing cost justified. Is there a differentiator that makes the Automation Anywhere really outstanding from MS Power Automate or UiPath?
Okay, excellent. Good question. So I will touch upon a little bit on the commercial bit, but not necessarily in terms of dollars, right? Like I told you, there are hundreds and thousands of solutions. There are point solutions. There are some platforms which are available. They may, offer it for free, or they may offer it at reduced prices. The whole reasoning behind that is these are products which have not been deployed at scale. These are products may come with a very large backing of large organizations, but they have not been deployed at scale. You wouldn't see, a customer speak about it, or probably some customers speak about it. So there's a huge difference. Our platform has been production ready and has been deployed at scale for the last year. We have seen use cases, and I'm going to cover that. We've seen use cases where they're able to save $120 million based on one agent alone. 120 million, and they're targeting to save $1 billion. Okay, that's the kind of productivity increase that we talks about. Their customer speaks about it as well. If I have to compare, it would be very, unwise for me to compare. But then if I look at some of the responses that we get, it could be from Gartner, it could be from HFS, it could be from any of the other players. Automation Anywhere is always on the forefront, both in terms of innovation, technology, and product offerings, right? We have been deployed in large financial institutions, healthcare organizations, banks, NBFCs, manufacturing units. These are proof of the pudding where we have been deployed at scale. We have been deployed across industries and across functions as well. Is there another question that I can take with me?
Questions? No, Ashwin, for now we don't have questions, but just a small request, if you can share your video, it would be beneficial if you don't mind.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I just cut the video because earlier I saw a lag, and I thought it's better not to do that as well. Okay.
All right.
So like I told you earlier, the RPA forms the base of it, right? So you have the RPA where you have RPA bots, there are API tasks. We've also started a new offering, which is called the API for the enterprise. Now, what API for the enterprise allows you to do is you can go ahead and execute API calls on our cloud. Right? This means that, you don't have to worry about latency. You can just go ahead and move significant amounts of data in the least amount of time. That's an additional offering that we have. You have the enhanced process orchestrator, which allows you to go ahead and orchestrate the whole mechanism of initiation, execution, and following it through the whole process. There are third-party integrations that are allowed. You have the COE manager, which is predominantly a program management tool or a project management tool for all your automations that are available to you. It can be deployed both on-prem, cloud, in a hybrid mode as well, or a physical cloud. It's very flexible. It's very open and trusted as well. On top of that is where you have the API that sits into it. I'm just going to spend probably a few sentences on each of these products. And if there are further questions, I will do a double click on these as well. So we have gone ahead and created the AI Agent Studio. The AI Agent Studio allows you to build AI agents. So it's a skill which is available to go ahead and perform a particular activity with the use of models, with the use of LLM, with the use of bots, automations, and so on and so forth. So it's a combination that allows you to get. Then you have Automated AI. Copilot that we spoke about is a part of Automated AI. Generative Recorder is a part of Automated AI. Then you have document automation, which will go ahead and extract information from structured, unstructured data or semi-structured data as well. And you can go ahead and add or generate content as well. So what we have been able to do with document automation is we have embedded two models within document automation itself, and then added or spiced it up with what we call as vision technology. So it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Let's say you have a 150-page document. It's a legal document, and you've just uploaded the document. You would need to know who is the respondent or who's the plaintiff. Now, that's very difficult, right? Either it's in the first page, or let's say for whatever reasons, the document is all messed up. You have to go through different scrolls, multiple scrolls to find them. But you can just go ahead and type in a question saying who's the respondent and who's the plaintiff, and you're going to get the answer probably in macroseconds or microseconds as well. So that's what we have been able to do with document automation. Process discovery allows you to create a blueprint of the organization. It comes with three components. It comes with a server component, it comes with the observer and the analyst. The observers are binary files that will be installed on the user machines, which will go ahead and capture all the screens, the domains, subdomains that you want to. You can allow or disallow them. The analyst will enable you to go ahead and look at all the process flows, create your own process flows, and validate it. The server will have the unique digital signatures that are available. So that's how it works. Generally, we have seen a 2 week of recording is good for an organization with 300 to 500 process to create a blueprint of the organization. There are our own Gen AI process models which are available, and we have our own RAG tool as well, which is called the Automation Anywhere Enterprise Knowledge. We do support the other RAGs as well. The packages are available. You can download it. You don't have to buy it from Automation Anywhere. It could be the case of models as well. If you've already subscribed to these models, you could come in and use the same credentials of those models and still execute tasks, or you could bundle it with Automation Anywhere as well. In terms of specialized AIs, we have our own parsers that are used, as well as some of the new vision technology that we have gone ahead and pushed in. So what does RPA plus APA allow you to do? You can go ahead and build your APA solutions. It could be for any of these divisions, any of these industries, or any of the different line of activities that you need to do. There is no, you could typically look across the industry, across the domain, and across the different types of activities that you want to go ahead and do that as well. We were the first in the APA space. We were the first to market. We launched it in June 2024. While the market was still talking about AI, agentic, autonomous, they were just definitions at that point of time. We went ahead and launched it in 2024 of the June. We were the first to deploy at scale. At that point of time, we had more than 100 clients and processes in place where APA was deployed. We're the first in terms of solution, where we went ahead and worked with some of the large consulting firms and large players to build solutions of it. We're the first in terms of product experience. If you look at a customer rating on the kind of the product that we have, we are significantly higher when you compare it to some of the other products that were spoken about earlier. When we talk about deployed to scale, I just want to take two examples, right? And this information is available on our website as well. I want to focus on the tax AI agent. Now, this is a company called Petrobras, which is in South America. They pay taxes of close to $45 billion a year. That's not the revenue, it's just the taxes that they pay. They pay state taxes, federal taxes, local taxes, and international taxes, and so on and so forth. It's an oil drilling mining giant. We built a tax AI agent. Now, what the tax AI agent does is it goes ahead and identifies every single invoice. It identifies what element or bill of material and what tax slab that it has to go into. So it will then go into local resources, it will go into rulings, it will go, because it's an ESG kind of a segment, it will go into any rulings that are there, the most updated data, and based on that decision, it will make that, okay, part number one, there's an 18% tax, it will go into 18% tax. What it is doing is it is ensuring that the organization is not under or over taxing, right? If you're under taxing, the problem is you're leading to penalties and brand name loss and so on and so forth. But if you're overtaxing it, which means you're paying more than you are supposed to pay, you're losing money on those deals. Just by ensuring that this is done right, they were able to save $120 million in 3 weeks flat. They're targeting to save $1 billion by end of this year, right? That's the kind of impact that a single AI agent can have. Just imagine the possibilities if you could have multiple AI agents within an organization. Now, I would want to just go ahead and focus on Gemina. Now, what Gemina has allowed us to do is it's an invoice AI agent. It has reduced the cycle time from 8 days to 12 hours. for more than 3,000 plus vendors. So what does it mean? If Ashwin is a vendor to Gemina, I can go ahead and put in an invoice in the morning and get paid by evening. And that's like magic to me, right? I just understand, there are business owners, entrepreneurs who are running organizations, know the value of money that can be, there's an invoice sent out in the morning and they get paid in the evening. That's like music to my ears as well. But that's the way it is. It has been able to bring down the cycle time from 8 days to just less than 12 hours. And this is for an impact. And this is where we talk about process impact, right? It's for 3,000 plus vendors. Just imagine the kind of good vendors that you would have because they're able to get paid in less than 12 hours and not 30, 40, 60, 90 days and so on and so forth, right? I'm just going to take a pause here and look for questions. Medini, if there are any questions, feel free to ask.
Yes, Ashwin. One question is Agentic AI faster to develop and deploy compared to other forms of automation?
Oh, excellent. So there's no develop, right? You typically, I wouldn't say there's no development, but yeah, it's significantly lesser. But yes, it is faster to do that. So it depends on the product and the solutions that you're looking at. For example, if you look at, let's say, process discovery I spoke about, right? Process discovery, you just have to initiate the binaries on the users. Okay. So if it's an organization of, let's say, 3,000 people and you have 300 people who are spread across all the different departments, it's a cross section of them, which will go ahead and cover all the processes. You just have to deploy the 300 binaries. If it's document automation is available as a command package. You can just download, update the command packages, get the necessary licenses, and then you're up and running, right? Similarly, for AI agents, is as good as, you have the AI agent studio licenses, you go ahead and build the skills, connect them to models, connect them to an LLM or a RAG tool, and then you're up and running. Okay, it's very, very easy that way. It takes significantly lesser time than an RPA. I know, the good old days when everybody would say, okay, you need 4 weeks to 6 weeks to deploy one RPA bot, right? But those do not hold good now. Any other questions?
That's all questions for now, Ashwin.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to run one quick demo. I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. I want to run a quick demo. I want to showcase an agent of what it can do. Okay, so this is an AI agent which deals with RFQs and RFP creation, and it's in kind of an evaluation demo that we've built in, right? This just give a very good idea of what is possible. And let me just run through it. I will talk about Bashir. Bashir is the agent. Bashir will talk about what Bashir does. Just Medini, confirm if you're able to hear the background.
Your business
voice as
AI
well?
system for intelligent RFPs.
Yes, Ashwin.
Okay.
It's my job to support organizations such as yours with procurement activities such as creating RFP templates and evaluating vendor bid submissions. Let me show you some of this in action. I'm going to focus on two personas. We'll start by looking at Bria, who is the procurement manager, and how she works with me to support the creation of the RFP documentation. Then we'll switch over to Ayman, who is the project manager. I'll show you how I can support him to evaluate the vendor submissions and make a more informed decision on who to select. So let's imagine Bria starts off her day by logging into Oracle Cloud, which is the main system she uses to manage procurement activity. There is lots of procurement activity taking place across Bria's business, but today she is focused on an ERP modernization project, so she'll go ahead and open that record. All of the procurement activity is displayed within Oracle, and she can see 4 vendors have been selected by the business to participate in this bid. On the right-hand side, she can see that I, as her AI agent, has been embedded directly inside the application. This is where she has the ability to converse directly with me, but we'll come back to that shortly. Today, she needs to create the RFP documentation and send it out to the 4 vendors. She opens a list of recommended automations that I could run that will support her with this. Bria goes ahead and runs the first automation in the list, create an RFQ template. I'll start off by extracting all of the required procurement activity, as well as the records for the 4 vendors. I need Bria to tell me if she wants to create a simple or complex RFQ. I can be trained to create different types of templates with predefined rules depending on the type of RFP she's running. Now I need Bria to provide me with a list of user requirements, which I'll combine with the standard procurement and compliance requirements when I create the template. Now I have a full understanding of the project, so I can use AI to create the RFQ template in the style and tone of Bria's company. Before Bria can publish the template to the 4 vendors, she needs to review it. I present the template to her and give her the option to edit it if she needs to. Bria is happy with the template, so she can now send it to the vendors. I'll craft a personalized email for her, tailored to each of the 4 vendors, inviting them to participate in our RFP. Bria can always change this email if she needs to before it's sent. I'll finish by updating Oracle to make sure we keep an audit of everything we've done. Now let's switch over to Eamon, who is the project manager, and we'll fast forward 4 weeks from now to when all the 4 vendors have submitted their bids. I send Eamon a notification in Microsoft Teams, telling him all the submissions have been received and I've analyzed and scored them automatically. When he opens the notification, he can see that I've been embedded directly into Teams, making it as easy as possible for him to work with me. On the left, Eamon can see a general summary that I've provided. This is my perspective on all the submissions and who I'd recommend moving forward with. But of course, it's still the business's decision, not mine. I just provide you with more data so you can make a better, more informed decision. On the right-hand side, Eamon can see more specific feedback for each vendor, and I've highlighted any areas of concern in the key areas we're evaluating. Zenith achieved a score of 85% compared to Elevate, who scored 96%. Zenith seems to have a better commercial offer, but there is an issue around data management that Eamon should look into. When Eamon starts reviewing the responses, Zenith is the first vendor in the list. I've provided Eamon with the specific feedback for Zenith, along with a copy of their submission that Eamon can scroll through. Let's look into that concern I've raised around data management. I'll take Eamon directly to the relevant section in their submission, and I'll provide some feedback on all their key points. It looks like Zenith stores and processes data in the US, but Eamon has a requirement that data is processed in the UAE. Zenith did have the better commercial offer, and they are well known for delivering successful projects in this space. They're also proposing to set up a data center in the UAE, but whilst this will add risk into the project, Eamon doesn't want to discount them just yet. As an AI agent who specializes in this end-to-end process, Eamon can ask me questions such as, is there an exception process he can follow? After checking my knowledge base, I can see there is a process to evaluate the risks and potentially make an exception. Eamon asks me to create a ticket for that, and of course I oblige. I'll notify Eamon via Teams as soon as there is a response on his ticket. Eamon now finishes up his review. He can always come back and continue later or move on to the next vendor. So you've just seen how I can help transform the procurement process by accelerating the creation of RFPs and evaluating bid submissions. I support people just like Bria and Eamon to be more productive and make better decisions for the business. Hopefully.
Excellent. Questions?
No, Ashwin, we don't have any as of yet.
Okay. So you could typically go ahead and deploy this either in terms of vertical solutions or horizontal solutions. We also have our professional services, which could help you in the first few projects to go ahead and deploy it so that you can pick it up, probably shadow, and then go ahead and deploy those AI agents as well. So we are there to really hold your hands and deploy AI agents across the end user ecosystems as well. Mainly, this is what I wanted to cover today. If there are any questions, I will go ahead and take them. I'm available, but I'm just going to be on mute. Do let me know.
Thank you, Ashwin. So if you have any other questions you guys might have, you can connect with us through email and get in touch with us to discuss further. So that brings us to the end of our webinar discussion. And as we conclude, I'd like to sincerely thank everyone who took their time to join us today. And your participation made this session quite interesting and engaging. And also special thank you to our speakers, Vishwanath and Mr. Ashwin Kumar, for sharing their expertise and practical perspectives on Agentic AI, and to our partner, Automation Anywhere, for their collaboration and continued leadership in intelligent automation. So we hope today's conversation has sparked new ideas and equipped you with valuable insights to explore Agentic AI within your own organizations. We surely do look forward to connecting with you again soon to build up on what was discussed today. And you can follow us on our social media platforms to keep in touch on our updates. And thank you all. Have a great day.